Hi, this is Andy from Modelbase Alpha. This episode, as we look forward to the Manchester 1999 convention later this year, I thought we'd take a look back at a few of the highlights from Los Angeles 1999, as well as some previously unseen clips. Stay tuned until the end for a special message from Warren Friedrich, who has some exciting announcements about the return to Moonbase Alpha. Cheers!
I want to thank you for being here. We are all very, very excited about this weekend. It is incredible to believe that Space 1999's 50th anniversary is here, and it's incredible. 50 years of the show that we love so much. All right, our very first guest that I'm going to welcome, she was Barbara Band's stand-in and double for both year 1 and year 2 of Space 1999. She was there on the very first day, and she was there on the very last day, and I'm going to introduce the lovely Suzanne Heimer. Suzanne. Next, I'm going to be introducing analyst Yasuko, who joined us in the second year of Space 1999. Yasuko Nagazumi. Okay, and next I would like to introduce, if the folks that remember the episode, the Seance Spectre, the lovely Eva Lewis, aka Carolyn Seymour. Who remembers the episode Dorzak? And this individual was part of the Croton universe and was Yesta on the show. And the lovely Kathryn Lee Scott. Okay, and next from the second series of Space 1999, who remembers the technician Jerry Travis? And that was Mr. Karl Held. And then next, who is our favorite Eagle pilot, who's here on day 1 and also for Breakaway, as well as the Dorcons, the one and only Captain Alan Carter, Mr. Nick Tate. Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Hey, Roy.
Hey, Nick.
Somebody want to ask you a question? No? Yep. Are you living in the area now, or are you back in Australia? I think I'm here.
Not a question, but just a statement. You were one of the most memorable Romulans in all of Star Trek.
Well, I stood in double for Barbara on both series, as a lot of you know, and it was good fun.
Karl?
Hi, you're looking at one of the luckiest men on the planet. I've had such a great life, I can't believe it. I'd love to do it all over again.
Anyway, it's lovely to be here for the 50th anniversary of Space 1999.
It is so nice of you guys coming here today. It is, and thank you, Roy, Warren, everyone who have been organizing every year.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope you enjoy the next few days, and welcome to the Space 1999 50th anniversary celebration. Thank you.
I always felt that it was a great shame we didn't develop more of the ancillary characters. It was very egocentric around the lead actors. I was very lucky that I happened to be one character that was working with both of them quite a lot, but it wasn't the same for everybody else. I believe that the success of television series is around ensemble. It was many years later, and I was working in Canada. I'd been asked to go up and shoot an episode of FX, which was a series made about the film that Brian Brown did. And it starred Cameron Dado, who was also an Australian actor, and they decided that he should have a dad. And so I came into the very last episode of FX up in Canada, playing his father, and it was one of the most wonderful characters I've ever had in my life. House creaking, I thought, oh, it's an earthquake. And then I realized there was this wind that was so strong that my house was moving. And I got up and I went and I looked out in the garden, and the trees were bending over, almost busting. And then I heard, and I looked around and there's the gardener come in with his windblower. I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm going to do the garden. I said, what are you doing, huh? The leaves were just falling off the tree and spraying everybody. The garden. So anyway, he went away, and that was 8:30 in the morning. By 9:30 in the morning, I heard a lot of shouting going on outside, and I thought I'd better look outside. There were people in the street running up the road and pointing at the sky. I looked at the sky, and the sky was swirling grey and pink and brown clouds coming up from the highlands of the Palisades, and the hill was on fire. It was terrifying. Okay, why did I digress into that? Let's talk about things we all love. Next question. Hello?
Do you still do voice work?
Do I still do voice work? Not much. I don't know why. I don't think I've retired, but I think my agent thinks I might have. I very stupidly left the best agent I've ever had in my life, Steve Disherman. In fact, he invited me to a thing about 3 weeks ago, which was a celebration of Steve Disherman's life. And he only invited about 3 voiceover actors, and I'm still his favorite. This guy. Because I was just, shut up, I didn't talk to anybody, and he says, so who wants it? I felt like a whore. But I had a career of 10 years doing voiceovers, and thank you, it was very, very nice. So much so that I stopped working as an actor. And eventually I come screeching into Naples, and I stopped because I didn't know where I was, and I had to make a phone call to find a studio. And I rang Tisherman instantly in America, and he says, turn around, Nick, you just lost the job. Not only have you lost this job, Kaleidoscope are really pissed with you that you've gone to Italy. I made a terrible mistake. I was on Toy Story, I was on about 5 movies at that time. They dropped me from all of them. And I was not working as an actor anymore, because for the last 5 years, all I was doing was voiceovers. I was making a lot of money. I built a beautiful house in the Palisades, which is now toxic because of all the smoke and crap that's around it. But look, I've been very lucky. I've had a wonderful life and a wonderful career, and I got fabulous kids and wonderful grandchildren. But I'm 83 years of age, and I've still got a life. There's plenty of punch in me, and I want to do things.
And I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk to our guests and talk to them about, I know we were talking a little bit about this during opening ceremonies, but talk about their careers a little bit, and maybe do a Q&A. Okay. All right. Karl, I have a question for you in regards to because you had actually did a lot of 1960s television, and you had actually worked with Martin Landau in the Outer Limits episode, The Man Who Was Never Born, which is a classic. And I'm getting a lot of feedback, I'm sorry. Can you tell us about that, working on the Outer Limits?
Yes, it was the first time I met Marty, and I could say right off the bat, he had no ego. I was a guest. He shared scenes we had scenes together. He was charming, he was nice. He did not have an ego problem. It was lovely working with him. I cannot praise him enough. So when I moved to England, some of you were here when I mentioned how that happened. That was earlier today, but my wife was English, and I had to escape Hollywood. I wanted to go back to theater, but I didn't want to go to New York. She said, let's go to London, they have everything there. And it worked out. That's what happened, and we went to London for 1 year and stayed for 12. And so I was there when Space 1999 was going, and when I found out that I was going to be doing it, I got to see Marty again, which it was like old home week when I got onto the set and we saw each other again.
Yeah, thank you for that, Karl.
Sure.
Kathryn, in regards to Dark Shadows, how did that start out for you as far as getting the role on that?
I auditioned for it 5 times, and I did a camera test with 2 actors one morning, and I figured since I was the only actress there, and they were auditioning the 2 men, I probably had the role, and I was thrilled. And when I called my parents in Minnesota to tell them that I just got this new job on a soap called Dark Shadows, my mother said, "I've never heard of that. I wouldn't give up your other job right now. Let's just wait and see how this goes."
I want to ask you about Space 1999 as far as how that role came about, and I know you did a lot of work before that as well, but the Sand Spectre was definitely a fan favorite among the fans as far as episodes, and you played a strong character in regards to that. And also, I have a 2-part question as far as how you got the role for that, and then also, how was it working with Ken Hutchinson? I'm just curious.
How was it working with, we'll leave that one for a little while. No, how I got the job, my husband directed the episode. And they knew who I was, and so it was actually, it worked out. It wasn't just, trying to get the ball and chain on something, Ken could be a handful. And he had his own demons, but my goodness, he was a charismatic actor when he wanted to be. He was just incredible.
Yasuko. You came over from England, and you were going to try to do some roles over here in the U.S., but you were telling us that it wasn't really working out, and then you kind of did a career switch. So do you want to just touch upon that with everybody?
Okay. Yeah, so as I said at the previous gathering here, I went to England to study English literature, and then by accident I became an actress, and then they started offering me so many fantastic parts which I never even thought of. And then all the people, especially Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, especially Sylvia, was so wonderful. And then Sylvia put me first in the Protectors, and then when we finished Protectors, I was cast for Space 1999. And then I said to Sylvia, I have no idea about science fiction, so I need help. She said, don't worry, you just sit. And then in that spaceship, so I was always sitting in front of the screen, and then right next to me was Tony Anholt.
Sharing that, Karl. And my last question, well, actually, the one thing I want to interject is, you also did Star Trek back in 1966, 1967 with William Shatner. You were in The Return of the Archons also. So, we're going to be doing a panel on Star Trek on Sunday, but just wanted to acknowledge that you were in Star Trek, as was Kathryn Lee Scott, and as was Carolyn Seymour.
Yeah, and so was my wife.
And Sarah Marshall, your wife was in the Deadly Years of Star Trek, yeah. But please give all of our guests a warm welcome.
Keep it going.
He's asking if there's a role that you had a chance to do or audition for, but that you didn't get, and you.
Well, there are a lot of those, because you're up for a lot of things, and sometimes you really want them, don't get them. And I never minded if a good actress got it. Then it was okay. When somebody not so hot got it, I was really pissed off. I was like, oh, come on.
Was there any particular scenes in Space 1999 that were emotionally difficult to get through?
That's never, pardon me, that's not a difficulty for me. That's very accessible. My instrument is trained to do that, like that. I know how to do that. The one where I played an ape.
I watched it just last week.
I went home with the makeup, the hair, the stuff, because I was kind of late. I wanted to get home for dinner. Cave woman, I guess. She had her first date Coming over for dinner, which I didn't know. This is Mom. That wasn't nice to do to a kid.
Comment on what you were saying about how, like, I think maybe it's why Space 1999 endures is because of the state of the planet.
Because of?
Because of the way the world is going now. You know, that we look back to it's almost hopeful.
Yeah, well, that's a good thought. It certainly was what drew us to doing it.
Right.
Was the way it was, the whole concept of the stupid idea of putting atomic waste on the moon. I don't know why it prevails, but I'm very, very moved that it does. I mean, after all, something I did 50 years ago still has resonance, and it means a great deal. It's hard to really comprehend.
Go ahead.
Barbara, I was going to pick up on what you were saying before. Obviously, you're sitting in a room of people who analyze your every move from 50 years ago. You watch every scene over and over. And you're an award-winning actress.
Yes.
Are there other things that you want us to pay attention to that you've done?
Other things in what way?
Other shows or other things that you would like us to analyze, perhaps?
Other programs that you've done that you'd like us to be aware of, to go look out and see.
Oh.
That you consider extra special.
Mission Impossible. Everything I've ever done.
Stand up. There you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the world's first showcasing of Space 1999, the musical, originally written as a concept portfolio. Katie Nichols, a young fan of our show, created this project for her final university dissertation in 2023. So without further ado, please turn off all your communication devices, including your comm locks, sit back, and enjoy the show.
Moonbase Alpha status report. 342 days after leaving Earth's orbit. Dr. Helena Russell recording.
And by the time Helena finishes her monologue, the whole stage suddenly lights up and the sound launches into a jazzy musical number introducing all of the characters. We're not doing that number.
Commander, look! The Eagles have finally gotten close enough to provide our first view of the planet.
The whole group turns toward the big screen.
Well, would you look at that? all right. Well, then the ground team will consist of me, you, Victor, Tony, Alan, Karl, Yasuko. Can you stay up here and receive our findings and keep this place running smoothly?
Commander, did I hear correctly that you needed a pilot for the reconnaissance eagle?
He's right here.
Do you want this?
Wow. Yes. I have to do it the right way, though. Wow. News travels fast.
And the crew can be seen excitedly boarding through the door of it when the lights come up.
Woohoo, let's go! Fresh air!
The music.
Drifting through space, I'd like to think the odds of finding a species that likes us must be in our favor soon, and that's favor FOVO.
No, please! We were just...
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
This planet is our home. We are what the galaxy calls Psychons, and we are good people.
How can we trust anything you people say after you just attacked my my crew member? All right, weapons down, everybody. Weapons down.
All the Alphans return their guns to their holsters.
Welcome, Alphans, welcome. I have been anticipating your arrival. Apologies for startling you when you got here. I really must work on our approach to visitors.
Oh, forget about that. Thank you for being so welcoming towards us. The Psychons have told us all about your leadership and the thriving ecosystem of the planet.
Some quite exotic pets on this planet, aren't there?
Wow, Mentor. That's quite the security you got there. Can't say we have that back on Alpha.
Yes, can somebody please get that to stop staring at me? I wasn't planning on losing a limb today, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Oh, Father, can't a girl have a little fun around here? I must admit, that trick never gets old.
Commander, I have seen enough of your people to conclude that you would be an asset to our life here. What would you say if I asked you and your whole Moonbase to move to Saigon and live here?
You had months drifting through space, sitting on your backsides, and
John,
now you
please, just think about it. A happy life on a planet like this, we'd be happy to enjoy the sun again. We'd be able to go outside and be able to grow out plants in an actual garden instead of a lab.
I might be a metamorph, but I'm not feral.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry about that. I just wasn't expecting the line to...
Never mind. I must go and occupy my brain with a more thrilling conversation.
It's very impressive. Yeah, you're kind of hot.
Pretty soon, Saigon will have some new energy, Alphan flavored. Their high intelligence level will fuel my beautiful planet for years to come.
Is it that obvious?
The heart wants what it wants. Go to her, John. Be happy.
Thank you, Victor, for everything.
Careful now, Tony. We've all seen you sneaking off for one-on-one time with Maya. She'd probably maul you to death as a lion, and if she saw the way you looked just then.
Oh, come on. Can't a guy get a look? Besides, listen, none of those ladies even compare to Maya. She's special, and I really like her.
Not now, John. I'm busy analyzing the similarities between Alpha and Saigon blood.
Oh? And what have you discovered?
That Saigons have much more courage in their blood than Alphans do. Explains why they aren't afraid of their own feelings.
Yes, well, about that, Helena,
Come back when you're ready to address the elephant in the room, John. I'll still be waiting like the fool I am.
John caresses Helena's face and pulls her close, about to kiss her lips.
Ooh.
For For a moment, it seems as if the time has stood still, and what we've all been waiting for is finally going to freaking happen.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Obviously, this is the Barbara Bain Career Tribute panel, which will be followed by Q&A.
Oh.
And I just have a very short little speech here before we play the video. Barbara Bain's journey began far from Hollywood, rooted in scholarship and dance, disciplines that shaped her artistry and presence. She brought her discipline to the stage, television, and films, where her talent and elegance made her unforgettable. As part of the original Mission Impossible team, she redefined the role of women on television and earned 3 consecutive Emmy Awards, an enduring milestone in TV history. Then, in Space 1999, she embodied Dr. Helena Russell, giving depth, strength, and compassion to a character who proved that even in the vast, unknown depths of the galaxy, humanity matters most. Off-screen, her devotion to children and literacy as the founder of the Book Pals program has left an equally lasting mark, inspiring generations through the simple, profound act of reading to children. Barbara Bain's career is not only measured in awards and roles, but in the lives she's touched, the barriers she's broken, and the inspiration she continues to give us all. Today, we honor her remarkable legacy. Now, sit back, enjoy this special tribute as we celebrate the artistry, the brilliance, and the extraordinary career of Barbara Bain.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara. Happy birthday to you.
But I think you can hear me back there.
Project.
Before I even go to the cake, let me just tell you, this is extraordinary. I'm very moved. I'll try to talk and cry at the same time. That's actually what they pay me for most of the time. Just to be able to do it. This is a very special bunch of people. What you have put together through the years, and how I've watched 50 years of people caring for each other, people from diverse backgrounds, everybody in this room that I've gotten to know, where did you come from? How did you get here? Look at the life you've led. It's very special that how you do care for the community out of this television show. It's extraordinary. So I salute you for how kind you've been, certainly to me, and how you are with each other. That's what moves me. And you know, that's who we are. That's the best of us. Yes. Yes. And we look out for each other. Yes. Yeah. So I congratulate you on this, my 94th birthday.
I just want to thank everyone. This has been an incredible weekend. I cannot believe it's the 50th anniversary of Space 1999. I sound like a broken record, but you know what? The future is and has been fantastic, and this is to all the fans. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. So just give yourselves a big round of applause. And one of the things I wanted to say is there have been folks that we've lost over the last 50 years, and there's too many to account for. So I just think that we should just give a moment just for silence, especially this year. We lost Clifton and we lost Prentice, but of course there's so many other folks that we've lost along the way. So I just thought, just as a remembrance, we'll just take 60 seconds just to remember them in our own way and just have a moment just to reflect upon that. Chris?
I just wanted to say something. Last night during the banquet, it was overheard at Barbara's table after she came back from her beautiful speech that she was planning on, but in the moment had forgotten, and wished that she had mentioned Rosie Magic. So yes, may the perpetual light shine upon everyone we've lost.
All right, with that said, I want to welcome our guests to come up. I'm just going to have them come up one at a time, just as a quick thank you as we do our closing ceremonies. So I'm going to start with Carolyn Seymour.
Okay, I've had the best weekend, and I think it's down to you guys, and it's down to this incredible committee who put this wonderful, fabulous convention on. Long may it last, and I've had the most wonderful time.
Kathryn Scott.
This has been an absolute delight. I am so glad to be here to celebrate the 50th anniversary with you all.
Mr. Karl Held.
That's very much fun I've had meeting you all, and what would we do without you?
Thank you.
Angela Staines.
I had a wonderful time. It's my first, it's my first Space 1999 convention, and it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I love meeting all the fans, and everybody's been so helpful and so kind.
I wanted to acknowledge Mr. Peter Medic, who's the director. That was happy day. Okay, next I want to ask Yasuko Nagazumi to come on up.
It is so wonderful, and thank you so much, and thank you Sylvia, and thank you Jerry, and thank you all of you attending here. Thank you so much.
And Suzanne Heimer.
Thank you all for coming, and I've had a good time, although I'm extremely tired. But I've had had a great weekend and lovely to see everybody, and hopefully see you all very soon. Take care.
Welcome up, Mr. Nick Tate.
G'day.
G'day.
G'day. I love you bastards.
We love you too.
We love you too.
Oh, and you are keeping me young. God bless. Let's do it again.
We love you too.
Essentially, Return to Moonbase Alpha is going to pick up directly from a couple of story points and threads that were presented in Message from Moonbase Alpha 25 years ago. So everybody remembers when that was premiered at the famous Breakaway Convention and how it essentially went on to become, everybody's agreed upon and accepted 49th episode, if you will. And it was canonical, right? I think nobody could argue the fact that, it was in universe. It was the official continuation of the story. And so what we're trying to do here with Return is, of course, continue on that tradition. Certainly not a true revival in that sense, but a fan-driven continuation of the story with some of the original actors and characters involved, and a hope for maybe some new and exciting adventures down the road. So, drum roll, please. Boom, and here it is. The official Return to Moonbase Alpha Vintage Special Effects Stretch Goal, everyone. Featuring, pay close attention, select original props, models, and ships from the television series Space 1999, capturing the spirit and tone of that classic 1970s aesthetic, unlocked at $40,000 USD. So the takeaway here is that, yes, people have done stretch goals. They've done practical effects shoots in the past, successfully. We really wanted to do something a little extra special. And it sort of goes without saying that everything that we're doing with Return to Moonbase Alpha, was designed all along to pay homage and be a tribute to the work that had come before, right? To continue the story even. And, under, those guidelines alone, I mean, looks and aesthetic wise, it is going to be very, very important to capture that. The example I'll use is the wonderful Star Trek Continues. If any of you have seen an episode of Star Trek Continues, what Vic Mignogna did down there, on those sets, and the sets are incredible, but on top of that, the lighting, he just nailed it. Everything with the lighting, the music, everything to create that sense and tone of watching a classic Star Trek episode. So we're of course going to do this with Space 1999, and probably the most exciting aspect is the fact that not only are we doing practical effects, not only are we trying to achieve a look and feel as if it was right out of the 1970s, but I still can't believe it. I'm so excited to make it official that we're going to be using select pieces, original pieces that haven't been on film since 1977. That's where that line came from the last couple of days. So we are so honored and so thrilled to be commissioning this special project to be incorporated within our own project, Return to Moonbase Alpha, by craftsmen, specialists, and technicians who have worked in the industry. There's going to be some names to be announced very shortly, but the big takeaways here, everyone, not only are we doing practical effects the right way, but we're going to be incorporating the original models and pieces.
Terra Alpha Status Report. Operation Genesis Update. Dr. Dino Videshi recording. Many years ago, when I was just a boy, my father and I took a trip to New Elna, our primary capital. Our pilot and friend was Captain Alan Carter, who flew us there in Eagle One. The view over our new world was breathtaking. Ever since that time, I have longed to get back into that pilot seat. And now it appears that I'll actually have that chance very soon. For months now, we've been tracking the moon's approach back into range, and detailed plans are well underway for a few of us to return. Ancient technology that's been discovered here on Terra Alpha will enable us to repair most of Moonbase Alpha's vital systems. Life support will be powered up, and the long-deserted base will be brought back into life after all these years. The decision to leave our home, our families, was not an easy one. As I prepare to embark with my own family, I'll never forget my mother Maya, or my father, Anthony Dean Videshi, whom sadly we lost several years ago. We return to the cosmos to honor the memories of everyone we've lost, and to continue the journey the people of Earth started way back on September the 13th, 1999. Operation Genesis will allow us to re-establish a living, breathing presence in outer space and fulfill the destiny of Moonbase Alpha. This is Dr. Dino Videshi, signing off.